Halo's modding community is one of the coolest communities in Halo, and while I'm sure you've all seen some of the sick mods over the years for Custom Edition or even the MCC more recently, Halo Infinite can kind of fly under the radar a bit in terms of cool mods, mostly because the tools aren't necessarily there. But today, we're changing that. Using a tool called IRTV, which was created by GamerGotten, people have started making some really cool and fun Halo Infinite mods that you can mess around with. I will link a video in the description by AbyssQuick that's going to show you how to install these mods if you want to try them yourself and you are on PC. Unfortunately, sorry Xbox users. But without further ado, let's check out some cool Halo Infinite mods. So the first one we have is the Spartan AI campaign created by XXZXX, and this one pretty much does exactly what it kind of says. It's going to allow you to take your sidekick and spawn in red and blue Spartans by shooting the sidekick, and you can kind of create your own AI battles, or you could just spawn in some friendly Spartans and kind of hang out with them. Whatever you want to do. Obviously, as you can see here, I spawned a handful of them and let them go at it. I also had the Marines shooting at them, and it's a grand old time. Everyone loves AI battles. Next up are two pretty similar mods, and that is the Scorpion Launcher and the Wrist Rockets. Both of these mods are created by XXZXX, and this is going to take the threat sensor that Master Chief has in the campaign and either allow you to A, shoot scorpions at people with it, or B, shoot rocket launchers out of your wrist. As you can see here from the footage, pretty dang insane. You can run around rapid firing scorpion tanks at people, which is pretty damn fun, I must say. Or obviously, if you want to be a little bit more boring, you can just shoot rockets straight out of your wrist. Either way though, both of these mods are going to make you feel like a badass, and you can really just take out entire camps basically with no hassle at all by mowing them down with scorpions that come flying out of your wrist. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? Next up, we have the 90s Spartan mod by Boxavis. Sorry if I butchered your name there. And this one basically kind of revamps the hitbox and the armor for the Spartans, and it makes these cute little Spartans that you can use for custom games or in the academy. I should note here that while you can use these in multiplayer matches, you do need to be using them in offline multiplayer matches, so you're really only going to be able to mess around with these with bots unless you also have someone on your same LAN network. But as you can see here, I mean, they're just really cute, and they're fun to shoot, and they're fun to mess around with. And obviously nothing too special, but I get a good kick just out of watching them kind of waddle around with those ginormous feet, and it's a pretty fun time. Run around, slay some bots, and I mean, how can you go wrong with big-headed, big-feeted Spartans? Next up, we have the Ring of Death AR, again by XXZXX, and this one just makes you unbelievably overpowered. It basically takes your assault rifle and has it shoot out a ring of fire, basically as the name would imply, that absolutely decimates whatever you're shooting. This mod makes the assault rifle by far the most powerful weapon in all of Halo, and if Master Chief had this in the canon, you know, the Covenant literally wouldn't stand a chance. He would be able to take them all out all on his own, which I mean, he kind of already does, but with the Ring of Fire AR, they literally wouldn't even be able to take anything. Master Chief would just absolutely dominate them. And if you shoot further away, you can kind of see the ring kind of expand, but when they're really close, it's like a nice tight ring. But yeah, as you guys can see, I mean, it basically just insta-kills everything. It's a lot of fun to mess around with. Obviously isn't balanced by any means, but it is a mod. What's the fun in modding if it's balanced, you know? I want to be completely overpowered and absolutely decimate my enemies. Next up, we have the Super Grapple, again by XXZXX, and this one does pretty much exactly like the name implies, and it basically gives the grapple obscene range and allows you to just fly all over the map. This one is a ton of fun because if you've played through the campaign, you know how much you use the grapple to kind of traverse the map anyways. Well, this one allows you to just traverse the map in an absolutely crazy way. It has a super long range and you can attach it super far, and then it'll just fling you through the air, and you can basically just fly across the entire map. So if you ever wanted to hit those clips that Mint Blitz hits, you know, where he's flying through the air and he shoots stuff, I mean, this isn't necessarily the same because he usually messes around with like actual physics in the game to kind of propel his Spartan to go flying, but with this you can fly yourself into the air and literally just fly across the map and have all sorts of fun. This one is a ton of fun. It's probably my favorite to mess around with just because it's so much fun to just literally fly around the map. One thing that is pretty funny though is when you are flying around the map like this, you'll notice that the map actually has has loading zones that you'll hit, and it'll kind of stutter a little bit as you're flying through the air and you hit these different zones. Next up, we have the Stinger Hog by Bishutox, which is just an obscenely overpowered version of the Warthog. Now, I don't know if mine completely loaded correctly. Sometimes these tags can be a little funky, but basically, this is a Warthog with a long neck and a tank turret at the top of it. However, it doesn't just shoot one tank shot at a time like the poor measly Scorpion would. It rapid fires them and again allows you to just absolutely decimate whoever you're shooting at. You can see in the footage here, I was able to take out one of those little mini bosses pretty much instantly, and it's pretty fun. The way my tags loaded, it was a little weird, the view model, but I had a lot of fun just rapid fire shooting at people with it, and yeah, it's pretty cool. You can also see a little Easter egg here in my footage. While I was driving around in my Stinger Hog, I also had the Snowman mod installed, and that makes your Spartan basically have a snowman head, and that's pretty fun. And yeah, that's the Stinger Hog. And next up, we have another fun one. This is the Banshee Bomber, and this one I couldn't totally get to load correctly. It almost loaded correctly and then broke, but basically it turns the Banshee into a big kind of bomber that you would see. And as you can see here from my very early footage, it rapid fires out bombs, kind of like a bomber would. However, mine ended up breaking and it stopped doing that, and I couldn't get it to work anymore. But this one's pretty cool. As you can see, just from the extended version of the Banshee, it's kind of fun to mess around with and fly with the really long wings. It's just interesting to kind of fly it around like that. But if it works like it did at the start, where you can rapid drop the bombs, obviously it's going to be a lot more powerful. I ended up just having to drop singular Banshee bombs kind of out the bottom, as I wasn't able to get it to fully work again after it broke the first time. Next up, we have the Motorcycle by XXZXX. Everyone loves motorcycles, and what's better than a gold motorcycle? Well, with this mod, Master Chief can drive around his very own gold motorcycle, and it just turns the Mongoose into a little two-wheel motorcycle. It still basically handles like the Mongoose, but you can drive it around. It has a seat on the back if you want to get a Marine on there, and you can just drive it around and feel like a badass, because who doesn't feel like a badass when you're driving a motorcycle? You can also try and splatter people with it, because it's pretty fun to try and splatter your enemies with a little Mongoose motorcycle. And next up, we have another pretty similar mod, and that is the Golden Warthog. Now, this one isn't anything too special. It's just a Warthog that is gold, but bling is very important in the Halo universe. Master Chief needs to make sure that at all times he has the drip, and this mod is going to allow you to do just that. This one was created by Boxavis, and like I said, it just basically makes your Warthog gold so you can feel rich and cool while you play the Halo Infinite campaign. And last but not least, we have another multiplayer mod. This one I couldn't get to work with bots in the game, but it just makes it so that you can play in third person and kind of run around as your Spartan in a multiplayer map in third person. You can shoot all the different weapons, you can grapple around, anything that you would want to do in third person you now can. You can even see my fancy nail polish armor coating that I got the other day by buying nail polish I didn't need. And yeah guys, that is going to do it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I just wanted to show you guys some of the cool mods that are being created for Halo Infinite. They obviously aren't to the same level as those mods we've seen for MCC or Custom Edition, because unfortunately the tools just aren't there for the modders, but maybe someday 343 will give us cool mod tools for Halo Infinite. Until then, I hope to see more mods like this that are just kind of fun. They play around with the tags that are in the game and they let you kind of mess around with it, do little fun things here and there, because personally I find that pretty enjoyable. But other than that, let me know if in future you want to see more of these mod showcases, either for Halo Infinite again or even back for MCC. As always though, make sure you guys follow me over on Twitch. I stream Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. You can also follow me over on Twitter and Instagram. And with that said, I will see you all next time.